You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
I think this is the place. Remember, Lord Vader wants them alive. In the name of the Emperor, come out with your hands up. Uh-oh, blast them!
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Called Lore. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
No, I'm Jerry.
And we've got something a little different. A lot different. I got a question. How many here are from out of town? So, as you guys may have noticed, this has some flavor of Star Wars in it, which is a topic that I've talked about often, but not deeply. So, this is my birthday episode, and it did happen to actually fall as to where it does actually release on my birthday. And so I thought we would take a minute to discuss why 40K, how that came about, but also I stumbled into something that kind of set this all in motion.
Yeah.
So to set the scene, it was a video by a guy named Arch Warhammer. We'll link the video. He did a video on the topic of gatekeeping. Now, I have my disagreements with Arch, and I actually disagree with him slightly on the topic of gatekeeping. That's neither here nor there.
Okay.
I actually like a lot of his opinions, but the crux of it was I made a comment in that video about gatekeeping in an aspect being important, because there are aspects of your storyline and your fandom and your fiction that do need to be protected, as these are cornerstones of what your fictional universe is built on. And if some chapped-ass monkey with a wrench comes along and just start whacking it, or should I say some chapped-ass mouse?
You know.
By the way, I'm going to keep these Disney digs very few, I promise. There's plenty of, they're getting a lot of heat right now, and there's plenty of videos that are out there doing that shit better than I can.
Yeah.
So that's not what this is going to be. I don't want to chase people away with that shit. But nevertheless, it remains true that there are pillars of your story that can't be messed with lest the whole thing crumbles.
Yeah. It's like starting to eat away at the foundation of the story. You know,
Right.
There's certain things that just
Rules.
are really important. Yeah.
Rules within stories that need to be maintained. And in the comment section of this video about gatekeeping, I said that, you know, as an ex-fan of Star Wars, a Star Wars refugee is what I call myself. I can tell you that it is important because there will be nothing left. And this set off a flurry of thumbs up and comments about people that were Star Wars fans that are now 40K fans. And that's what set this all in motion.
Yeah. I remember when you showed that to me, you're like, hey, Eric, so I left a comment and it has gotten more of a response than I was expecting. And it really was. It's like, you know, when I leave a comment on YouTube, you know, it may or may not get a like. Unless it's us at Cult Talk, you know, like, yeah.
This got into the thousands.
Which is saying that's a statement
It
of
is.
some sort right there.
And like one of the comments in it got into thousands of thumbs up. I stopped keeping track at like 60 some comments, I think. Maybe 56. I might get that backwards, but who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But one of the comments was, Christ, how many of us are there out there? And that's what got me wanting to do this episode, because I have that question myself. How many fans have gone from Star Wars to 40K, and why?
Yes, and why? Which, you know, leave that in the comments. I'm sure we'll be saying that a couple of times, but do make sure, like, that is the question of this episode. We're at some point going to toss the question to you and see what your thoughts are.
Yes, that's actually my whole point for doing this episode is I want other people who were Star Wars fans and then became 40K fans to tell me in the comments section, A, that they exist, and B, kind of at least a little bit about how they got there, because my own journey was pretty wild.
Yeah.
And it got me curious about other people's.
Yeah. So, and it would be a really interesting like case study too. That's one of the things that's like, oh, that's fascinating. Like, it's always fascinating to me when you find like-minded people on some, obscure thread of thought or something like that that's out there. And so
Right.
It is kind of intriguing. I always do want to know like the why of it or the how of it. And yeah. Anyway, so
Finding a community is always fun.
yeah, definitely.
Especially when it's a community that seems to have transplanted itself from one into the other.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Right. So I think one of the best ways to kind of dissect this a little bit, we're not going to dive like headlong into this shit, obviously, is comparing the two storylines together. And to do that, we're going to take 40K, The Grim Darkness of the Far Future. Yeah, we'll count the Horus Heresy. It's a little unfair to Star Wars because it's such a wide breadth. But I mean, you have to just realize from the offset that 40K is a bigger beast, just in general.
Right.
So you're looking at like the Grim Darkness of the Far Universe, the 40K universe, and then the Horus Heresy era versus what I would say stack up against the Imperial, the Empire and the Rebellion, and then the prequel era, which would be like the New Republic, and the Old Republic for those of you that invested actual time in Star Wars. Ouch. Anyway. One of the things that I found most interesting in comparing these two fandoms or these two universes, I need to say universes because the fandoms are now bleeding into one another, which is the whole point.
Right.
But the stories and the universes between these two is just how different they were, despite having a lot of elements similar.
Yeah, there's of course overlap, but then once you start scrutinizing it, it gets way different again in the minutia too, Yes,
I watched the video and I'm not gonna. I don't even remember his name and I'm not gonna comment. But one of the things he opened up with is it's not hard to see with like all the big ships and the space battles and I was just like, oh, there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah, I would say like just about any sci-fi set in space, and there's probably thousands of those kind of stories and worlds out there. They've all got big spaceships
and space battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't they go to Star Trek? Although you could argue that Star Trek's being just as polluted, but I'm not a Star Trek fan, so I won't speak on such
right.
things.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten into Star Trek myself.
I wonder how deep the Fifth Element fan base is.
Oh,
the Fifth Element would be wild, but I don't know how you could build a fan base, a fandom out of just that movie, because that movie doesn't explain shit.
Yeah, there's like the difference between 40K and Fifth Element explanation is vast.
Oh yeah. That's a wide gap. Yeah, that is so true.
You could make the argument. You could compare probably Star Wars in its earliest elements, like when A New Hope came out and Empire came out. You might be able to compare those to Fifth Element as far as lack of reference to things that was then just kind of
sure. That's true. Yeah,
developed on. But man, when you're leaning in as heavy as to the unknown as the Fifth Element is, then fans can start doing the wacky. Yeah, all kinds of crazy shit.
I wonder if there is any like expanded stuff like comics or books or
I wonder
anything
that too.
like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll do an episode and we'll find out.
I don't believe there is. If there is, I would be very interested to know what happened to Ruby Rod. I want to know what happened to him after that. People hate that character. I don't understand. I don't know.
Every franchise has its annoying character, I think.
So listen, Jar Jar and Ruby Rod are not comparable.
Yeah, that's fair.
And what would you consider to be 40K's equivalent? It's so the concept of like Caiaphas Cain, but he's goofy but loved. So you can't do Caiaphas Cain. The idea of a goofy character is so far removed from the setting. You have to in my opinion, you have to go to a character that elicits kind of the same reaction, which is that exasperated eye roll.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to go with Erebus.
Erebus. Oh my!
And you're like, Erebus is this version of Jar Jar? You're like, and that right there, if nothing else, illustrates the difference between the two fandoms.
It really does, man. That's such a wild statement to say. Erebus and Jar Jar in the same sentence is kind of bizarre.
I can see an orc character bringing like that kind of energy to it,
like a really dopey. Orc,
yeah, but the thing is you have to try to find a character in 40K that elicits that visceral dislike.
Yeah, you have to be like an orc that's like not like an orc.
Yeah, isn't there a monkey somewhere in 40K? He's probably universally beloved if there is a monkey. Oh no! Don't make me sound crazy. In 40K, or 30K, wasn't there a monkey character that appeared several times in the books?
So I mean, I don't know about a monkey character in the Horus Heresy, and especially in, I think it was the Siege of Terra, Arkan Lan had a monkey that was like it was a pet.
Okay.
It had a scorpion tail.
Oh, wow. Man, there's so much yet to cover.
Oh my God,
for me
that was so funny. Because
I have so much left to learn.
He had no idea, none, what a monkey was. At all.
Oh, wow.
So he thought it was like this ground predator that lurched and ambushed things. And when he saw the curve of its tail, the bones, he just assumed that it had a stinger on the end, like a scorpion, because their tails. I mean.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wild. Yeah, I can't wait until we get to that sort of stuff. But
yeah. But as far as like Planet of the Apes level character?
No, nothing like that. No, that's what I was talking about. Although, boy, that scared me. I was like, am I just pulling this monkey thing out of my ass right now for like, is it just
well, first of all,
some
those
random
are gerbils.
Oh, you know about those, huh?
Well, Richard Gere. That's an old joke. Only people our age and older are going to get that reference. There's going to be a bunch of 20-somethings like, who the fuck is Richard Gere? What the hell is he doing with a gerbil? Look it up.
So something we said earlier made me think of this. Both of these universes have had decades to develop their lore and stuff like that. And I think that's something that's very comparable between the two. That's a parallel there that I hadn't thought of before we started recording this episode.
Oh, yeah. You know? Star Wars developed into quite the expansive universe.
Yeah.
Before Disney this is all pre-Disney stuff.
Right.
And dealing with that dumb shit.
Yeah.
They got a Rock as a pilot. Like, what am I like?
Yeah.
Set aside my hatred for that company. Like, what as a content creator, and this is like one of the first times I've ever actually called myself that. What in the fuck, as a content creator, am I supposed to say about a rock?
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't have eyes. It doesn't have mouth. It doesn't have arms. It doesn't have legs. It doesn't communicate in any fucking way that we can tell, yet somehow it's a co-pilot.
For context, are you saying that there is a character that is a rock in Star Wars?
In the High Republic.
Oh my.
Yeah, and it's just, and my point, like one of the main reasons why I just discount Disney stuff altogether is you just get tons of this characterless garbage. Rey, no character. Kylo, no character. Snoke, no character. Like, none of them.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even bring those characters into the mix because what are you going to say about their backstories or their motivations?
Nothing that isn't tied to the legacy characters.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the more interesting backstory stuff, I think, that they ended up using. But that's an advantage that 40K has over Star Wars, is it was never tied to a singular, like, family, like the Skywalker family or anything like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. It's got more weight-bearing pillars that can...
Right, yeah. It's got different like, there are fan bases within the fan base for different factions or characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I do secretly suspect that the Emperor is... And people go, well, of course, that's not a secret. But I really think people don't... I think people do. I don't think the Games Workshop understands how you handle the Emperor's character. Like, there's all this mystery. Is he a tyrant? Is he benevolent? Is he this? He should realistically, right, fall somewhere in the middle. But if you finally play that card and you reveal, like, on firm footing which way he leans, if you fuck that up, and by fucking that up, I mean making him a tyrant. That's the bad play, guys. I know everybody's all into this, there's no heroes. On this, me and Arch agree. That's garbage. The Emperor is the good guy. He's just not a pretty good guy, right? Like, I'm sorry.
He's for the greater good kind of good guy.
No, those are the Tau.
Oh, whoops. Oh, shit. I did a heresy. I did not mean to do a heresy. Jerry, forgive me. Oh. I'm going to get the flamethrower later.
Yeah.
Just the nuts.
Go the way,
But-
go the way of Spot.
Oh, no.
Hey, keep it in the fiction.
Oh, God.
But I really think that if you reveal the Emperor to just be a tyrant, that's going to just cut your fandom right at the core.
Yeah.
That'd be the same thing as when Luke tossed that lightsaber over his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What a weird moment.
Oh, I know.
Weird wasn't the word for it. Not for me sitting in that theater.
Although, yeah, insulting too. But like, weird is it because it is a very weird. Like, why on earth? I still don't know why. I watched the movie and I still don't know why. But anyway, yeah,
Like for comic relief. But
yeah, it was like played as a joke.
doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
You know what? I actually think in large part the degradation of Luke Skywalker had a lot to do with at least, okay, so obviously everything that I speculate on as to why a Star Wars fan moved from Star Wars to 40K is going to speak more to me than everybody else. So putting the comment section, you just told us why you did it. Well, yes, obviously, but
Do you relate or not?
not. Correct.
If you do not, join the conversation.
Yeah, then tell me why
Yeah.
you did it. And if you didn't do it, why are you answering?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I'm curious. Yes. Now
Yeah.
I'm curious for a whole nother reason. But in 40K, usually. Now, no fandom is 100%. Like, saying goodbye to a character is hard.
Yes. And
Supernatural had like one of the best scenes ever talking about endings, right? Where Chuck is talking, he's like, endings are hard.
Yeah.
Any idiot can come up with a beginning.
Yeah.
That's completely true. But 9 times out of 10, I feel like when you have a character who is noble and regal and stands for all the good things, they at least die fighting. For me, the thing that appealed to me about 40K was just how many heroes died being heroes.
Yeah.
They didn't go on to become villains. They didn't become these corrupted twists. Now, the Primarchs, absolutely. And along with, like, you do learn about some of these heroes that were twisted and fallen, like Karn.
Yeah.
But you had your Vader. And the story's still ongoing, so do they get their, like, still remains to be seen.
Yeah.
So you can still put your faith that maybe there's some sort of redemption for the heroes that have fallen.
That's true.
Star Wars seems to be completely devoid of this now. It just seems to be endless character assassination or just sheer drop off.
One of the things that I really like about 40K that Star Wars had and now it doesn't is that those heroes that you're talking about have to work really fucking hard to be those heroes.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Like really fucking hard.
Agreed.
They are making sacrifice and tough decision after sacrifice and tough decision. And a lot of them are making big mistakes along the way too.
Oh, huge cost.
Yeah.
Millions of lives sometimes.
In lives, blood and lives. And oftentimes they do it knowing that they're probably not going to make it out on the other side.
Against really bad odds.
Yeah. They're staring down the mouth of the lion.
Or sometimes they escape because one of their friends decided to sacrifice themselves really badly.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Caleb.
Caleb, moment of silence. That was a bad way to die.
Oh, yeah, but Caleb's in it. I mean,
Caleb was a boss.
If you don't know who Caleb is, look up our review of Garrow, Knight of Grey.
Yeah. He sacrificed
Or
himself.
no, our Epoch of Garrow. That's what
Epoch of Garrow.
Epoch
Thank
of
you.
Garrow,
Yes,
the complete Garrow life story that we did. Man, Caleb, and not even a space marine.
No. Ordinary human.
And like Star Wars really wants to do this, really wants to have characters like Caleb. But they just can't, they can't let him die.
Right.
Or they can't resist insulting them somehow. I just don't like like Han Solo, for example. Like, if I were going to try to think of a character that I would equate to, see, I'm really hoping that Commissar Yarick's death is somewhere like what Han should have been.
Yeah.
Hi, old dog. Jipper's joining us. She has been in not good health here recently, so that's always good. So that's good.
It's good to hear. Good to hear a buff.
Yeah, but it's not life-threatening so far.
Yeah.
And I did mean so far. But anyway, like you get Han Solo, who, by all accounts, if you're going to kill him off, which is fine,
Sure,
you can kill him off.
Yeah.
Goes down, kamikazing his ass in the Millennium Falcon, right?
Oh.
Trying to fly the plane upside down in the barn, just like in Secondhand Lions. Like, I mean, just like that.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Preferably with Chewie riding co-pilot, not giving a fucking Tinker's Dam.
Man, that would have been awesome. What a moment that could have been. Sorry, I'm
meaningful.
Meaningful. Yes. Just the two best buds together in the cockpit, going down with a wry smile and a clever line.
Yeah,
Come on.
Instead, what we got was that really sad-looking, confused old man getting stabbed on a bridge by some kid he's never seen before.
Oh, God. Ouch. It's been a while since I've let this all hurt me.
I mean, and yes, I'm aware that 40K does have character. You can point to Major Kill has a video that's all about like characters with embarrassing deaths.
Or
disappointing deaths. None of them. Okay, not none of them. I'll mention one here in a minute. Almost none of them are to that kind of level of what we got with these characters compared to what they were capable of doing. In 40K, at least they usually have the God's common sense of letting you see what that character's capable of. And yes, that means in combat, you retards. Yes, that's what that means. When you're going to kill off a character like that, they kick ass first. Moron. It's not hard.
Put up a good fight.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody realizes that the sad old man's got to lose. Nobody wants to see him shit himself while he's doing it. Like the whole, help me, Dad. Oh, it's like, it's okay, Junior. I'm here. What the fuck? Compare that to a character you guys haven't even heard of, but other people have heard of. His name is Comba Diaz.
Comba Diaz. Okay.
He's practically a no-namer. He's an Imperial Fist guy. And I don't remember what his rank is. It's fairly high up there. He's he commands guys.
Yeah.
But he's in it here and he's in it there. And I don't believe that he's ever actually a main character. If he is, let me know. I want to read that book. He's fucking badass.
Yeah.
But his death is he just stands there and he declares not one step back. Not one. And he just continues to kill things until they kill him. And even when he dies, he falls forward.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice.
Because he refuses to take a step back. That's a minor character in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
And that's as I'm getting older, I realize that these characters that I've grown up with aren't infinite.
Yeah.
And you can say, well, if they never make other movies, they are. No. Because, the books have come out past Luke's death.
Right.
And then even still, if you put 5 minutes of thought past the films, when you get older, you realize even in the context of those stories, those characters get old and die.
Right.
And if you're going to do old characters or you're going to bring back heroes, either make it worth something or don't bring them back, because then you let the fans send them out in however they want. 40K, though, loves giving you the hard goodbye, which is fantastic.
Yeah. The hard goodbye. I imagine that in all caps.
Well, okay. So if I did not, that is taken from Sin City right there.
Oh, okay. Okay. It sounded familiar. There we go.
Yes.
The hard goodbye.
But
yeah.
That's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. It's brutal. It's blood. It's worth it.
it still means something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't see any of these character sacrifices in Star Wars have meant anything.
No. And I think what grinds me the most is that a lot of the times they kind of undermined what their initial journey was in a way that like their end destroys what their principles were on their way out too. You know what I mean? Luke very much was about like he had a character arc and it became like taking responsibility for
and never giving up.
Yeah, he wouldn't give up on his father, and so he
wouldn't
took
give
it
up
upon
on his
himself.
Friends, wouldn't give up on his father, wouldn't give up on anything.
Yeah, to the point where he was willing to throw his own weapon aside just to keep trying to and to save himself. Anyway,
no,
but then
that was death, not to save himself.
Yeah, and so to like take the lightsaber and throw it away in a completely different context, like it's mockery. It to me felt like mockery. I'll say that.
I can't imagine reading in Plague Wars where Gilliman picks up the Emperor's sword and tosses it over his shoulder like a hunk of junk.
Just irreverent.
Yeah, just like
my father's sword. Fuck it. And he doesn't even like his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only thing that shocks me about it is it shocks me that I'm shocked that there are more Star Wars fans that have gone to 40K.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like an obvious pathway. You know what I mean? To go from like, okay, I can understand people migrating out of Star Wars and I can understand people going to 40K, but like that connector there just hadn't occurred to me. I knew it happened for you. I know that's part of your story.
It did, but I mean, it was a conscious decision for me. I dedicated a large section of my brain power to Star Wars. My book collection was pretty vast. Ugh, some mice got into a box and I won't talk about it. But
yeah,
I used to have a wide, I've read a fuck ton of the books from the Darth Bane books all the way up. I did do the comics with Darth Talon and I can't think of his name. Darth, not Kitus. God, that's going to bug me.
Future Eric's got you, no worries.
Yeah.
The person you are thinking about is Darth Krayt. Krayt. Happy birthday, Ben.
But anyway, like, I invested a large section of my life and time into this universe, and then when all of that was erased in one manner or another, or at least rendered pointless.
Right.
I actively had to go find something else a new fandom to dedicate my time to.
Now, what was the first, like, the start of the trail, though? Like, what caught your attention even?
So I watched a video and couldn't tell you who it was.
Right.
But he was comparing 4 super soldiers versus each other. It was Space Marine, Master Chief, Jedi, I think. And I'll be damned if I can remember the 4th one. Anyway, it struck me just how OP the Space Marine was. And the guy in it just didn't go super deep into 40K because obviously you'd get lost there and your video would be way longer.
Oh, yeah. When really you just need to break it down to stats of some sort.
But yeah. I remember just thinking that was just the normal Space Marine.
You're like, hold on. That's the regular mook?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not the regular mook. You got your Imperial guards represent. But like, yeah, I was just floored. I was like, okay, so what's the ceiling look like?
Like, what else is in there?
Yeah, like if these are the more or less ordinary players here.
Yeah.
What are they up against? And why do they need to be that powerful?
Yeah. And so I kind of stuck my head in and fell.
And you did. Like, I remember because Ben was into 40K for a pretty good stint of time before he finally roped me in on it. And he would just bring up these videos, and I was, I'm always interested in like these fictional worlds and stuff like that. Like, Lord of the Rings was my Star Wars, kind of like the way you put it was like you put so much time and energy into it. But So I'm always up for that kind of conversation and stuff, but I never really quite, I didn't really do any digging on my own. I just listened to Ben as he just progressively more and more and more of the conversation became 40K. And I realized that he was throwing me different factions, trying to get one to tickle my fancy as he's,
It was the Space Wolves.
he lured me in with the Space
Worked
Wolves.
for Jerry too. Man, people like Vikings.
That's how it got you too?
People like Vikings.
Yeah.
People like Vikings. That's the first time I mentioned we were talking about Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was into the Norse mythology and
me too,
stuff like that.
Yep. And so it's just like, ooh, here we go. They have a Thor.
This is cool.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm going to divert sidetracks. My birthday's here. I'll do it if I want to. Jerry, let me throw this at you, and I'm going to throw this out here, and I'm probably going to get lambasted. It's fine. It's just a thought I had. I was smoking a lot of pot at the time, so it might not all link up. It's fine. There's a theory that the Primarchs are minor gods from the warp that the Emperor stuffed into the vessels that he created, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why when a Primarch dies, there's like this flash of light and there's this kind of explosion. And also why whenever they try to clone them, there's that spark missing. And why Malkador and the Emperor have said that they could resurrect Primarchs if their souls just go to the warp. Which, I mean, all souls do, but they would have to get the soul first, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah. And what's stopping a Chaos God from just getting its hands on it?
Right.
Like the average schmuck.
Yeah, or at least a greater demon.
Right.
So, as the warp exists, when sentient beings put faith into things, enough sentient beings do, it creates a minor god in the warp, which then, as it snowballs, becomes a greater demon, a greater god. That means potentially that all of the pantheonic gods that the humans worshipped at one time were alive inside of the warp.
Oh, okay.
So then it could be possible that Lehman is not Thor-like.
He is.
Could possibly be Thor. Because wouldn't it be... Well, I think that would actually be kind of a cool twist if they were the human gods.
Yeah. It's because even in regular mythology, there's repetition of those gods.
Right.
Yeah.
And they become iterated into the next, whoever is.
Next cycle, next culture.
Ragnarok or whatever it's called in I know bunches of them have rebirth cycles.
Yeah. So if they are repeating that much in regular mythology within, something like the 40K universe.
Yeah. So I do think that flat out
belief in repetition. Yeah.
I do think that flat out explaining that would be giving too much of the game away. Myself.
That's not something I would, as a storyteller, give a hard answer to.
Right.
The mystery is pretty good. I wish that they'd hint to it a little more, but honestly, maybe they do. Maybe everyone looks at Lehman and they're like, it's Thor. He's Thor.
It's hard to allude to that because they've kind of lost a lot of their history.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so they wouldn't even have a name for...
They wouldn't have the reference.
They wouldn't have his name. So...
They could allude to us, the reader or the...
Yeah, which they have.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a question. Guys, would you be interested in a video where we try to go through the Primarchs and try to find human pantheonic gods from different pantheons? We won't just pick one pantheon. That's cheap.
Right. No, human history, which I'm betting they drew from. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fun one.
Try to find which god might be, which human god might be which Primarch.
Please say yes. Please comment and say yes. Please.
Listen, we're probably going to do it anyway, but the more you comment, the faster we'll do that.
It's going to be us there, just typing yes.
Yeah, just over and over again, opening different accounts.
I don't care. YouTube doesn't give a shit.
No, YouTube does not.
So, but anyway, that was just a thought I had. What if Lehman was actually Thor?
I think I forgot about that. You have thrown that theory my way before, and I forgot about that. As he's telling Jerry, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Jerry, you're kind of on the outside. You were a Star Wars-esque fan. Now you're a 40K-esque fan. Mm-hmm. What is your opinion on all of this kind of the transition of the fandom, possible transition of the fandoms? I won't say that it did have,
I think it's good for people to have an outlet when they feel like something is starting to fade to what they, used to enjoy. It's great for them to have somewhere else they can go and find, something new to put their energy into and their, enjoyment out of.
Yeah. No.
And I think
very great answer.
That
yeah, I really like that because it is true. Yeah. If you're not getting enjoyment out of something for one reason or another, I mean, you're right. Like, you should have something that does bring you joy.
Yeah. Stop spending your time, your money, your energy on it. It's just not worth it if it doesn't bring you joy.
Right.
At least when it comes to recreational hobbies.
Yeah. Like there's some things like life is life still.
Yeah.
You got to do stuff you don't enjoy.
There are way too many people that take that philosophy to work.
Yeah.
Like, listen, it ain't meant to be nice.
Life is short, but you still have to live it.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. Oh my God. We should also do an episode just from Jerry's like wise sayings and advice. I think. Yeah.
Oh, we can call it basic white bitch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we probably could.
All right.
All right. I'm going to turn it over to the fans now. I want to know what they think. I've given my thoughts. I could go a little bit deeper into the philosophical reasons, but I don't want to wax too poetic.
Okay.
About.
That's fair.
I want to do an episode more about Star Wars that will be a little bit more ranty and a little bit more into like the reasons why you can't do what they've done and expect people to be nice about it.
Right.
But I do not want to waste people's time with that with this question.
Right.
This question's about their story more specifically.
Yeah.
I want to know how many people out there were Star Wars fans first and then left Star Wars to join 40K. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't have to know about 40K beforehand,
right?
But it just wasn't your thing until, in my opinion, I was chased out, forced out, basically told I wasn't wanted, and the way they treated the characters that I loved, that's the message I received.
Right.
So I packed up my toys and went elsewhere and made a podcast out of it.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Neat fact. That is part of the series of events that did lead to Cult of Lore starting was us getting into Warhammer and
because we were just like how do these worlds get built?
Yeah, how do you build these? And like honestly, like if you want to learn about something, start a podcast on it. It's a great way to learn new things about it.
You don't have to be good.
No, you don't. But you know, it's one good way. Journaling might be another good one if you don't want to go through the.
Yeah, but I because I'm not a pussy, I have 48 things on Audible, so you can do that instead of journaling. Okay. Sorry, ma'am.
Although if you journal, it's fine. We're not judging you.
I'm judging you. Get a fucking hobby. Get a cat. Put lipstick on your hand. Whatever you gotta do.
Wow.
You are literally writing to yourself. Get friends.
I wasn't expecting that to go there.
It's fine. I'm sure you draw yourself all those cute little hearts you want.
Oh, okay. Yep. We're letting him go off the rails a little bit because it is his birthday.
Just a little.
Yeah. Another thing you could do in the comments section is wish Ben a happy birthday.
Yeah.
He'll enjoy that. That's, yeah.
But let us know your story from Star Wars to 40K, or if you have a friend who went through it and they're not listening to us, at least get them, be like, hey, you don't have to like their podcast. You don't even have to listen to their podcast, but leave your story in the comment section so that one of the co-hosts, me, can actually get the cool satisfaction out of reading these stories, because they started coming in the comment section, and that when I made that comment in the other video, that was the fun part.
Yeah. So, and like we are like, I anticipate doing some follow-up on this because like you guys are kind of our case study here. This is, for at least from my perspective, like this is something I am extremely curious about.
Yes.
And how does this happen with a large group of people transplanting from one fandom to another? I don't know that this happens that often. It could happen all the time for all I know, but
you just gave me another question to ask. Also, do you know of other times where this has happened before?
Right.
With other fandoms?
Because this is, a new thing for me.
For me too.
To this extent. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll
do
it. Okay.
Wonderful.
I like it.
Time for wrap-up stuff?
We'll wrap it up.
Okay. I'll do wrap-up stuff. Thanks for listening. If you're, if you are new to this video and have made it to this point, we've got a whole library of other 40K related subject matter,
non-40K related
and non-40K related. Yes, yeah. So we also cover like mythologies here and there, and we branch out into other fictions.
We do. So one feature we have is we do a new foreign, not just American holidays, but we do a new foreign holiday every year.
Yeah.
I think this year we're doing Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, that is in the roster. Cinco de Mayo. Yes. So looking forward to that.
We're also going to be doing some more book reviews.
Yeah. Look forward to more book reviews coming up.
We're starting with the Night Lords trilogy.
All right.
I'm gonna-
No secrets.
No, I want people to be excited.
We should start advertising more things in advance so
Yes.
people know what's coming.
Yes. So we're going to be doing the Night Lords trilogy. I'm fucking excited about that.
Yeah.
That was a good run, damn it.
Yeah. Look for stuff like that. If you're a fan of Cult Talk Net in general, there's a few other shows that you could check out. We do movie reviews of Bruce Campbell over on Cult of Campbell, along with a slowly but steadily growing Cult of Russell, where we
do Kurt Russell movies.
Yes.
Cult Kurt Russell movies.
Cult Kurt Russell movies.
How's that?
Yeah. Let's see. And then, of course, there is Cult Talks Conspiracy.
Because another cuh.
Yeah, another cut.
Just cuz.
A lot of cut. That was good. Cult Talks Conspiracy, where they Ty and Bailey examine all sorts of different conspiracies, and it's a lot of fun and very interesting and sometimes scary. Other than that, there is another mini-series, American Pie Slices, where Michael and Ty, who you guys have got to meet if you haven't already, examine the movie, one movie, 6 episodes for one fucking movie.
Do you guys want to hear something kind of funny? Listen to this. Hey, Eric, what do you think about the idea of us doing American Pie Slices, but we do it with Hannibal, where it's just slices of the scenes?
Oh, my goodness. Slices of the scenes?
Where we just do like how they did the scenes of American Pie.
Just break it down.
Listen,
are you talking about the pilot or the whole damn series?
I was talking the whole damn series. Listen,
tempting, but...
me and Eric we got giant chubbies for the Hannibal TV series.
Yeah,
they'd be like people slices instead of pie slices.
Oh,
yeah,
slices. Yeah, there we go. Everything could be a new little menu item from. Oh, that's such a good idea. Have you ever seen Hannibal?
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness. We
sounds like I
might
have
to.
to.
Yeah, it's
a visceral reaction.
it's
Oh,
good.
and everything
It's
about that
disturbing,
show
but
is visceral.
Such good characterization, though. Oh my goodness, it is.
You will never find a better depiction of Satan than Hannibal in that show.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yes. Neat. And it does make me hungry.
Yeah, food looks good.
Weird. Yeah,
Food
it really
looks
does.
good.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Sorry, Jerry. It's okay. I don't know how to cook that well, so you're safe.
We have the Hannibal cookbook.
We do. So you might not be as safe as I just said.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I think that's all the things, more or less. You know, you guys know the drill. Like, share, comment. Definitely, please comment.
Definitely
we
comment
really
on this
want
one.
answer to this. You know, why 40K? Tell us. Tell us why. We want to hear from you.
As always, for the algorithm is accepted.
Yes. So, okay. I think that'll do it.
All right. And with that, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And thank you, 40K, for giving us a new hope.
Oh, that was good.
I like that one. That was really good.